Hello again, students, and welcome to Online Learning Week 3. This week, we will be studying idioms. Let's get started. First of all, what is an idiom? An idiom is a group of words with a special meaning that is different from how it seems. Idioms are often confusing and difficult to understand. Sometimes they are also silly. Here's an example. Have you ever heard someone say, "Whoa, hold your horses"? Really, that person was trying to say, "Please wait and stop what you're doing." Probably when you heard that, there were no horses anywhere nearby. That's because it's an idiom. It's a saying that people use because it's common and popular, and you can assume or believe that people know what you are talking about. But if you heard it for the first time, it would be really weird. You would be looking around saying, "Hold your horses, I don't have any horses." So that's what we mean. It's something that's confusing and silly that people say. Your job today is to act like a detective, somebody who looks for clues and solves problems. We're looking for things we call context clues. Context means the other words and sentences that are around the words you're trying to figure out, okay? We want you to be a detective and look at those other words and those other sentences to try to figure it out. You should focus on the words that you know. And most importantly, you should use your critical thinking skills. Don't just give up or ask for help. Sometimes it's okay to do that, but using context clues is a great way that you can figure it out for yourself if you just think about it and look for those clues. Let's try our first one. We will try 3 idioms together today. We have a short paragraph. This is somebody speaking. He says, "Are you all right, traveler? It's raining cats and dogs out there. You should come inside and dry off." Can you find the weird group of words that sounds strange and confusing? It's raining cats and dogs. What a strange thing to say. That is our first idiom here. We have 3 choices, a multiple choice question. It's raining cats and dogs. Do you think that means animals, cats and dogs, are falling from the sky? Choice A. Or do you think that means it's raining a lot? For choice B. Or do you think it's raining just a little bit in this paragraph, this short story? Let's look for some clues. What are the key words? What can give me a clue or a hint about what it means? Look right here. You should come inside and dry off. You need to dry off if you're very wet, right? Now, will animals falling from the sky, cats and dogs, will that make you wet with water? No, that one doesn't make sense. That must not be the answer. How about choice B? It's raining a lot. If it's raining a lot, will that make you wet? Yeah. If it's raining a lot, someone might ask if you're all right and say, "Here, come inside, get out of the rain." That one seems to make sense, doesn't it? Or it's raining a little bit. If it's raining a little bit, people will probably think you're okay. They might not ask you to come inside. Which one do you think is correct? It's B. Raining cats and dogs is just a funny way to say it's raining a lot. This one doesn't even really make sense, but people say it all the time. I guess it's because the raindrops are so big that it's almost like they're as big as cats and dogs. I'm not even really sure why people say this one, but I've heard it many times. Let's try another one. Another person is speaking for this one. It's a student who says, "That English quiz was a piece of cake. I finished in 10 minutes and I'm sure I got an A." Do you see the strange idiom, the strange group of words in this sentence? Piece of cake. Idiom number 2 is piece of cake. This seems out of place in the sentence. Why are we talking about cake when you're also talking about school and an English quiz? Let's see. Piece of cake. Do you think that means it was easy? The quiz was a piece of cake. It was an easy quiz. Do you think it was a difficult quiz? A piece of cake? Or do you think it was dessert and the teacher just brought a piece of cake to the student's desk so they could eat? Do you think that's what happened? That doesn't sound like it, does it? Let's see. Where can I find a clue? That English quiz was a piece of cake. I finished in 10 minutes, and I'm sure I got an A. There are lots of clues in this sentence. English quiz. We know we're talking about school. Finished in 10 minutes. You did it quickly. Okay, so let's see. And I'm sure I got an A. An A is an excellent score. All of those things kind of make sense for the quiz being easy, don't they? Do those things make sense for it being difficult? You wouldn't say you got an A, you think you got an A if the quiz was difficult, would you? And is this student saying anything about dessert? Yes, the word cake is there, but the rest of the sentence has nothing to do with food or sweets. Okay, so that one probably doesn't make sense. The correct answer is A. Piece of cake is a silly way to say it was easy. That quiz was a piece of cake. Here's our last one. Again, we have a student who is talking. This student says, "Are you still waiting for your parents to come get you? I guess we're in the same boat. I've been waiting here in front of the school for an hour." Again, this student is talking to a friend, it seems like, outside of the school. Do you see the group of words that doesn't make sense for this sentence? An idiom, a group of words that must have a different meaning because it doesn't seem to fit so well here. In the same boat. Why is the student talking about a boat? They're at the school. They are nowhere near the sea or a lake or any other place where a boat would be. What does this mean, in the same boat? Does that mean in the same clothes? How about in the same situation, doing the same thing? Or does it mean in the same boat, like the real thing, a boat, a vessel for traveling on water? Which one makes sense? We better look for clues again. We see parents. We see we're in the school. They're talking about the time. They're talking about what they're doing. Here in front of the school. I think that's our big clue that that option C is wrong. It would not make sense to be talking about a real wooden boat for going on the water if you're at school. That's not where you find a boat. So we can cross off option C. Now, which one makes more sense? Wearing the same clothes or in the same situation? Well, they're not talking about clothes in the rest of the sentence, are they? Maybe they have school uniforms, but that's not the main idea that they're talking about. They're talking about what they're doing. They're waiting and they're in front of the school the same amount of time for an hour. That's all the situation. That's the things around them and what they're doing. So if you said option B, good job, you are correct. In the same boat is just a funny way to say we're in the same situation. Looks like we're in the same boat. We're doing the same thing. That one, I guess, makes a little more sense than the others because boats are small, aren't they? So if you're in the same boat next to another person, you're probably in the same situation, doing the same things. That one makes a little sense, but it's still a weird thing to say if you're not talking about a real boat in the water. I hope you enjoyed the lesson this week, learning a few idioms, and also I want you to remember, use context clues. It's a great way to figure out idioms, but it's also a great way to figure out new vocabulary, understanding new concepts, look for clues in the sentences and words around the one that you're not sure about. It's a really important English skill that I want you to practice and remember. Great job. I will see you next week.